Title: Whispers in the Woods. It began with the whispers, soft, almost imperceptible sounds that threaded through the trees at dusk. The small town of Maple Hollow was known for its dense woods, where towering pines loomed like sentinels and shadows danced under the fading light. Many kids dared each other to wander into the forest after dark, claiming it was haunted by the spirits of lost animals, but most brushed it off as the stuff of legends. That was until the day Tara brought home Max, the most peculiar-looking stray cat anyone had ever seen. Max wasn't your average feline. His coat was a patchwork of jet black and milky white, with one striking green eye and one ghostly blue. Tara fell in love with him at first sight, though her parents were less enthusiastic. Strays bring trouble, her mother warned, but Tara was insistent. She promised to keep Max indoors, but it wasn't long before the spirited creature lured her into the woods, his gaze almost beckoning her. After only 2 nights, Tara noticed that Max was different. In the days after she brought him home, he'd sit for hours by the window, staring into the distance, his lithe form vibrating with an uncanny energy. She could feel the tension in his body, as if he were waiting for something, or someone. The whispers grew louder when Max was around, teasing her with secrets she couldn't quite grasp. "Stay away from the woods," Tara, her best friend, Leah, told her one afternoon as they walked home from school. "There's something weird going on. Animals have been acting strange. Ever since Max showed up, deer have been spotted running in circles, and the crows have been screeching like they're in a panic." Quote, Tara laughed it off, convinced that her friend was just feeding into the town's lore. "You're just scared of a little myth. Max is just a cat. A weird one, but still just a cat." Quote, but that night, as the pale moon cast silver beams through the window, Tara heard it again, the voices. She lay in bed, trying to dismiss them as a trick of her mind, but curiosity gnawed at her. There was an unsettling draw to the woods, a feeling that something awaited her just beyond the trees. Max, perched on the windowsill, stared out with an intensity that made Tara shiver. Unable to resist any longer, Tara slipped into her shoes and grabbed a coat. "I'll just go for a quick walk," she told herself, needing to calm her racing heart. Max bolted ahead, leading her deeper into the forest, where the whispers intertwined with the rustling leaves, creating a haunting orchestra of sound. "Max," she called, but it was as though he had slipped into another world entirely. He dashed further into the shadows, and before Tara could think, she found herself chasing after him, the trees closing in around her. The whispers grew louder, clearer, forming a ghastly chant that echoed in her mind. Suddenly, they stopped. Before her stood a clearing, dark and eerie, illuminated only by the moonlight trickling down. A circle of animals, rabbits, deer, and even a few foxes, stood motionless, their eyes wide and filled with an unnatural gleam. Max sat among them, his green eye glowing with an ethereal light. "Join us," the chant seemed to say, reverberating in her soul. Tara's heartbeat quickened, the air thick with a sense of foreboding. She stepped closer, entranced, as if an unseen force pulled her toward the gathering. "Max," she whispered, stretching out a hand, but he only stared back, unblinking. The atmosphere shifted, and Tara suddenly felt the weight of their stares. The animals seemed to morph, shadows twisting into grotesque forms. An unsettling realization coursed through her. They weren't just animals. They were vessels for the restless spirits that lurked in the woods, the very spirits that had grown tired of waiting. "Turn back," a voice echoed in her head, but it was too late. The forest pulsed with energy, the ground quaked beneath her feet as the animals moved in unison towards her. Just as panic boiled over, Max started to hiss, emitting an otherworldly sound that sliced through the air. The animals stopped, their demeanor shifting as confusion spread like wildfire. Tara took a step back, her instincts kicking in. "Max, come on." In a flash, he darted toward her, and without thinking, she turned and ran. The underbrush clawed at her legs, and the whispers turned into shrieks of anger. But she didn't look back, focusing solely on the path ahead. Bursting out of the trees into the safety of the moonlight, her heart racing, Tara took a moment to catch her breath. Max stood beside her, his demeanor calm yet unnervingly wise. You were in there," Tara stammered, trembling. Max's eyes glimmered as he licked his paws, the soft sound of the woods enveloping them once more. The following days were filled with hushed warnings in school. Leah was convinced something was wrong the moment Tara recounted her story. "You have to get rid of that cat," she urged. "He's not right." But Tara pushed away the dread. She couldn't abandon Max, not after what they had shared. But as the whispers in the woods faded to a deadly silence, and animals began to disappear around town one by one, Tara found herself haunted by the question that lingered in the air. Was Max really her friend, or was he a harbinger of the darkness looming just beyond the trees? As nights fell heavier and the whispering stopped altogether, she couldn't shake the feeling that something darker had come to stay, with her, and with Max. In Maple Hollow, legends had a way of twisting the truth, and some animals were just waiting for the right moment to reclaim their power. And deep down, Tara could feel that wait was over.